Good afternoon, Mr. Maida. How are you this afternoon?
Good afternoon, sir. I'm fine.
You're fine?
Yes.
You sure?
Sir.
I look drained out. Nah. Alright. You know where we are here, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Before we actually start the activity, I just want to go over it with you in the event that you might have any questions. But before we get there, just a reminder in terms of the appeal process. Alright, if you are not satisfied with the outcome, then you would need to make a formal letter, all right, and indicating what is it that, and that letter would be directed to me. And then I will get along with the internal verifier, and we will arrange, we review, and if there is a need to reassess, then we will reassess you, all right, and you will be informed. And also, don't be afraid in terms of saying, well, we will set the date. We will still work with you in terms of when you are free, so that we can do this. All right. So again, it will be on your own time, but more or less, if there is a reassessment, we would give you notice in terms of when that would be. All right.
Okay.
Good. Also, please bear in mind safety. All right. In everything that you do, think safety. All right. We don't want any incident. If there is any, you have any physical pain or anything of that nature, or something is bothering you physically, then please don't hesitate to call my attention, and then we'll see what we will do so that we can move forward. All right. With that in mind, so let's go over the activity. Here, there is a copy of the checklist. All right. So, like you rightly know, then we will be testing you in 2 units, all right, using simple leveling devices and carrying out excavation. All right, this is for you to complete these units in order for you to get your certificate in masonry level 1. All right. So at this point, I'll ask you to please read the activity that we'll be doing today.
Work activity. You are to assist the Orange ITV maintenance personnel in excavating a 5 feet long trench, 10 inches wide by 10 inches deep, for the installation of a PVC storm water pipe. The trench should have a slope of 1/8 of an inch per foot. To ensure that the required slope is obtained, you are to use both the water level and the boring rod methods for transferring levels. A time of 1.5 hours will be allotted for this activity.
All right. So when we begin the activity, you will have 1.5 hours to complete it. All right. So at this point, do you have any question in terms of the activity that you'll be doing?
Sir, will you record the piece where, well, it will be the 1.5 hour will also give me time to cover up the hole, or it will be...
No, you won't cover it. You just do the trench. Somebody else will come in and install the PVC
then
pipe.
cover.
So all at this point that I'm concerned with, or that you need to be concerned with, is that of doing the trench, all right, and doing it to the required specification in terms of having that slope of 1/8 inch per foot. All right, and from there, the plumber would come in and do the installation of the PVC storm water pipe. Okay. Any other questions at this point in time?
No, sir.
No? Okay, let's look at the checklist. So you can flip page and take a look at the checklist. All right, so if we look at the checklist here, you have 3 stages: the planning, the process, and the product. All right, so there are some pointers or some criteria that you need to comply with when it comes to planning, also for processing and product. So we can go over it one at a time, so in the event that you might have any questions. So start off, select appropriate equipment, tools, and materials, all right, in terms of doing the practical. Check tools and equipment for serviceability to ensure that the tools are functioning correctly. All right, maybe you don't want a hammer with a broken handle, or a handle crack or something in that nature. Right? Remember, we already did a practical similar to this. So this is just to see that you have it. And follow health and safety procedures. Remember, I mentioned to you, safety is very important in everything that you're doing. that you organize and set out your work area, right? That everything is in order, and set up your water level, all right? And this means putting water in the clear holes, marking out the trench, which would be 10 inches by 5 feet long, and locate points A and B on the ground, all right? Establish A to the required height, erect safety barricades around the proposed trench, all right? And so moving on to the process, you establish A to the required height, use water level to transfer height from point A to point B, establish the given level, height of each end of line to be bone, site and mark with the boning rod height of the intermediate points, right? Excavate trench using pick and shovel, verify level in the trench using the boning rod method, clean, maintain, and store tools and equipment. And the last stage, which will be the product, I will examine to ensure that the trench meet the required specification as stated in the activity. All right, excavated materials located at the required distance from the trench, and that the workflow in a sequence in logical and efficient manner. All right, so that you just follow the process while you're doing this. Okay, is there any question here? No. Again, if you look at this form, there is a section here where you have candidate rating and the assessor rating. So I'll be rating you on this section, and you will be rating yourself. And then from there, during our discussion, then you will discuss it, all right, in terms of how you arrive. And if we have the same mark, well, then we just proceed. All right, and at the end, then you will sign, I will sign. And so then if you look at the up here, you have 1 to 5, meaning 1 and 2 means that you are not yet competent. Let's say, for example, in the first one, you might get a 1. That means that you are not yet competent, right? Or 2. Now, if you get 3 and above, or 3, 4, 5, then that means you are competent in that specific pointer, all right? So the whole objective here is that you want to get 3 or 4 within all these this checklist that we have here, right? So in order for you to be successful in this activity, okay? And then if you flip over to the next page, we have a section for comments, feedback, outcome. All right, so I'll be commenting. Of course, this is after our discussion. We'll comment here, and then from there you will sign the sheet as well. All right. Is there any question? One more thing, after the practical or after this activity, there will be an oral questioning session where I'll be asking you some questions, and then you will be providing me with those answers. All right. So again, I repeat: is there any questions here at this point in time?
No.
Are you comfortable that we can move forward?
Yes.
And please bear in mind that when we start, you are not allowed to ask any questions. All right, because then we have already started the assessment. In other words, I have already started to assess you while you're doing this activity. All right. Well, if there is no question, Mr. Meda, I'll give you a couple of time to go and get the tools and to go and set up in the area that we are going to carry out this activity. All right. Okay, then. So within 5 minutes, I'll be here with you, and you should already have the materials and the equipment ready to start working. All right? Okay then, so I'll meet you out there, okay? Okay then.